Hey everybody. So we are it's 12:30 p.m. here on December 20th, East Coast time, and a government shutdown is looming. This is somewhat unprecedented for the H-2B visa program. Now, there's a blog post you can check out that's in the description of this video. I actually put the whole text there. If you need bigger letters, you can go to fronteralabor.com to check it out. But here's what the shutdown could mean for the H-2B visa program. As I said, this is unprecedented. We have had shutdowns in the past. The shutdown that was 34 days long from December 2018 to January 2019 did not affect the Department of Labor. And that's because there were some last minute extensions of the Department of Labor's funding that were put through by the end of December so that the department was actually funded through September 2019, meaning that the H-2B visa lottery for April 1st starters in 2019 was not affected. It went through as planned January 1st through 3rd. We are in a very different environment. Currently, the Department of Labor and the Office of Foreign Labor Certification do not have funding through 2025. So if the government were to shut down right now and nothing else were to happen, then the Office of Foreign Labor Certification, which runs the H-2B visa lottery, would be shut down, and it's unclear what would happen. We do have one historical analog that we can look at, which was 2014. There was a shutdown from October 1st to October 18, 2014. This was obviously not during a lottery period, but it did affect some applications that were being filed for H-2Bs, probably for winter starters. And what happened there is there was an 18-day shutdown. And the OFLC, the Office of Foreign Labor Certification for the Department of Labor, did not send out any updates before the shutdown because then, like now, the shutdown came suddenly. It wasn't until October 31st, so 13 days after the shutdown ended, that the OFLC sent out an update saying, hey, anybody that had deadlines, either responding to a notice of deficiency or having to get in a 9142 after a prevailing wage was filed, anybody that had deadlines that fell between this period is now extended through about November 14th. Okay, so they gave a 2-week extension on October 31st to anybody that might have been affected by the shutdown. That's about the extent of it. What that precedent tells us is that that's about the extent of it in terms of historical precedent. And what that historical precedent tells us is that the OFLC could very well not be prepared to provide any sort of announcement before it shuts down today. I'm sure that they are trying to figure out how do you actually formally, legally furlough people. How do you deal with, shutting down the flag system? You've got all sorts of IT and HR headaches that you have to prioritize. And so where that leaves us is that we could be entering a period in January where, like in 2014, employers and their representatives will be scrambling, not knowing whether there will be some sort of relief at the end of the day because it's not guaranteed. So what do I do? What am I doing? Currently, if you're my client, I'm not doing it, right? But my staff is preparing your 9142s just so that they're in the system. I don't know why, except that I can imagine the Department of Labor coming back online and saying, hey, we know that flag was down and you couldn't file things January 1st through 3rd, but we're giving you a day to get your application in. And if you have a lot of applications to file like I do, then a day might not be enough. So we want to make sure that we have drafts ready to go in the system. So we just have to correct them and file them. The other thing that I'm thinking about doing is, like, do I prepare paper 9142Bs? Okay, but if we do that, that means that we would have to overnight things basically on either December 30th to get there January 1st through 3rd, or overnight them like on the 2nd, because I don't think things will work I don't think mail or courier works on the 1st. I might be wrong about that, to get there by the 3rd. Why these dates? Because we would be filing paper in order to reserve a spot in the lottery, which we will have no information about. Okay, so that's the way I'm thinking about it. The other option, looking at 2014, is do we email things in to the tlc.chicago@dol.gov email that they have us send everything to? I don't know. But in order to be safe, which is, the job of an attorney is try to get the employer to as safe of a position as they can, even with limited information, maybe that's something we do, because again, 2014 was a precedent. Now, the only other thing is that all of this, doesn't just affect H-2Bs. It affects H-1Bs. It affects perms. So I even have some perms that having the employer, I'm having them make a decision like, do we file them now or not? So everyone is going to be scrambling. It's just not going to be fun. But what you should be thinking about then is making sure that your prevailing wage is in and back by this time, making sure that you got your job orders up, because the state level, I'm not sure even if like the state level state workforce agencies will be affected. I'm not sure if they stay open, right? They're DOL, but do they have state-based funding? I'm not sure, actually, come to think of it. So make sure maybe that even your job orders are up, that you have things. If you can't get a job order up, then write one out on a piece of paper, and then at least you'll have that to go if we have like a limited time to go into the lottery. But it's going to be a mess, okay, if we do shut down. That I know for sure, and anything I can do to mitigate is not going to change that. So stay tuned. There is a link that I've included in the bottom here, which takes you to the announcements page. So there is a let's see if I can take you to it. So there is a announcements page that you can kind of verify this certification, and you can see that they have announcements, and this is where they would post, in theory, right, the best as I can tell, any information what might happen due to the shutdown. Okay, and that link is in the and like I said, if you want to otherwise, stay tuned to stuff, then you can maintain this web page open, and you can also check out, the Frontera Labor. I do have this, visa blog up and available to you, and I have again posted this and some other things like the H-2B visa preview from the video the other day. All right. That's it. That's kind of what we know about the shutdown, and hopefully it helps you somewhat. I will try to continue updating it, but boy, what a mess. Do we have to be here? I don't know. But you guys have a great rest of your day as much as you can, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.